What's going on, traders? Hope everybody's having a great weekend. This is the S&P 500 weekly chart. We're starting off on our normal view here, and the markets were up just barely 0.08%. Final print 412.20. So not much activity. OPEC Friday, as we were expecting, a tighter range than usual and not a lot of follow through. And that's exactly what we got. Nice conditions to take the day off and not trade at all. Got in a couple of scalps, but nothing worth writing home about. I did not play any options yesterday on Friday. So, either way, before we get more in depth into the market, I wanted to mention, of course, that this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. And if you're liking the content that I'm providing, the daily market updates and other information about trading to help you on your journey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button. And you could also leave a comment below. Love to hear your guys' opinion. Are we going up, down, more sideways? I'd love to hear what you all think. So with that out of the way, like I was saying, we're looking at our normal view that we usually start off with on the S&P. We're starting off here on the weekly chart, and you can see overall we've just continued in this range, kind of putting in a doji candle here, slightly red, but we did close above this downtrend that we've been watching. So I would say, of course, I always give the bullish and bearish scenario. I would say that closing above this downtrend is one encouraging sign for the bulls. Like I said, we're really going to have to start to push down quite a bit and break out of this consolidation. We'll get into the daily here in a second before we can see that downside, and I'll probably repeat that 10 times as the video goes on. But all right, so let's get into the daily chart here. We still have this volume divergence going on, and we've been talking about the change in the market structure here, how we've kind of peaked out of this consolidation, and now we're starting to change directions a bit, and the Momo is starting to continue to cool off this time. So those are some interesting developments. We are back inside of value, but this daily candle did close over that downtrend, and with this candle body here, kind of a dragon tail doji. This would be telling me that, even though it's one of the weaker bearish candles, the bullish candles, excuse me, but they are still there, and you can see the strength in them pushing up price and at least trying to hold us up. So that is not it's not the best candle, but it's certainly not the worst candle for the bulls to be printing on Friday. So yes, that is very interesting to see. But now let's take a look at the fibs. Now, of course, we have been watching, and let's actually go to this one on the weekly chart just to see. Zoom in here. Okay, still kind of just stuck. In between the 23.6 and the 0 line on the retracements. And again, to break under that 410 and really under 409.55, which I will talk about earlier or later. Those are going to be the key levels for the bears to start to get under, to really see that follow through and that potential move back down to the daily 20. I'm on the weekly right now. But let's see where that lines up here. I mean, ultimately, if they do break that 20 on the daily, let's go back to it really quickly. ultimately, if we do break it, our first target, like we're talking about for the bear case, would be that daily 9, but also that 409.55 again, like I've mentioned. But once we start breaking the 9 here, then I would be, and start closing under, then I would be probably looking to see to test that 405.50 area, 405 pivot in this zone, the 38.2. So that's kind of what I'd be anticipating. And we can start seeing this rounding top formation. You could even make a case for a head and shoulders, but again, it's meaningless until we break the neckline. So if we break the neckline, then, to kind of figure that target, you kind of look from the top of it and kind of bring it down there. So from the top of the head all the way to the neckline, and then kind of inverses to try to find that bottom target for what a head and shoulders should give if it gives the breakout. So, and I think that lines up probably pretty nicely here with this area. So we'll have to see how that develops in the next week or so. One thing I do want to mention, and let's go. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about on these charts before we actually go in. I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm pretty sure that gives us everything. And we've been looking at this channel, on the and the shift in the market structure, how now, I went over this last time, but now we've got the high and now the higher, the lower high. And we were talking about this yesterday about the potentiality for a price to come up. And well, I thought maybe we would do it in the morning, but we did it in the afternoon. We came up, did the fake break above the trend line, just like we were talking about, and then we were pushed back down lower, and then there was a little end of day squeeze. But the thing that I think is interesting is that the end of day squeeze, they're getting, in my opinion, they are getting weaker. Every time we're trying to push up at that end of day cover, I mean, it barely came right into this kind of, triple top area here. As you can see, price getting pushed down again, but they're getting weaker each time the bulls try to push it up higher. And I don't know, maybe that's not true, but it's just, it's something that I'm personally think I'm noticing in the price action overall. But you could see how nicely the levels did work again for the day, buying in here in that demand if you wanted to, shorting up here in the morning. Nice down, back down. Didn't quite get a full signal here into the demand, but bought right back up again. Another short, back down, long again, right into this area. You can TP, and yeah, and then we kind of from here we started putting in some lower highs, some higher lows, and then we made a nice little push back up right into a 413, nearly close to that 413, and then back down. And this was that fake break that we were looking for earlier. And I did catch a short round in this area, which was fun to play. But you could see here at that end of the day squeeze, I mean, kind of a pathetic attempt, to be honest. So yeah. But what are we looking for on Monday? Well, I'm looking at the economic calendar. It looks like we're in a Fed blackout period until next week, which is nice to see. And the only things that are really coming out, we have continuing jobless claims on Thursday, consumer confidence on Tuesday, core PCE on Friday, but there's really not, I mean, those are not really huge. The jobless claims might move the market a bit, but nothing really that big going on this week as far as economic events. So that is good to see. And we can just, if we keep trading in this range, that's fine. We know our levels and, we'll trade accordingly. So, I haven't, like I was saying in a couple of the other videos, I haven't personally been minding it too much. because there have been opportunities to trade. And so, like we were talking about on Friday, this potential break above and back down. But still, what's interesting here, what's the low of the day on a Thursday? It was, let me get to my cursor here. It was 410 27. What's the low here? 410.17. So they still put in a lower low and a lower high. So now that we've got a little bit more data on these points of on this price action, what I'm going to do is kind of clean up the top of this channel a little bit. I'm going to bring this up. Okay. Going to get it on there. Oh man, let me just redraw it. It's a pain in the butt. Okay, just gonna get a little bit nicer here. So we've got more points of contact perfectly on there, and this is still fine down here. So I kind of marked off here, the big area, in my opinion, that the bulls would really need to get over for some true confirmation to the upside. But you could certainly see if we get over and hold this point of control. And push over this trend line, come back and retest, come back up here to this area where we could see some rejection, but this general zone is where the bulls are going to need to push over to have any follow through and any chance of moving back up. It could just reject, and then we could just roll back over from here, come down, take out the put and control. But then we might get another BRB set up here along this trend line. So that would be the best case scenario, not rolling over, but the best case scenario would be the bulls getting over, confirming, and holding up. But I want to be very cautious when they break over because like we saw on Friday, could be a fake break and they could push it back down. So let's watch to see. Certainly if we sweep these highs from Friday, that might start to encourage some covering. And then possibly we could target up at this 413.25 area and then maybe get a shot for up in this general zone, maybe the first two areas in here. But I think sweeping Friday's highs would be the thing that we would need to see, at least to get a chance for this point of pain area right here. So let's watch out for that. If we do get the breakout, we'll get the retest confirmation. That's probably where I would be targeting to get out most of my position and then see about any runners to get a little bit higher. But being cautious for sure. Either way, for the bears, what they are going to want to see is taking back out, this area down by the lows again. I think if they take out just 410.70, 410.50, it'll be very interesting to see if this 410 area is actually defended. How many times has it been hit and picked away at? We do have value area low here on the 10-day hourly, so that also may provide some support for us. But really, if we start to break under, then I'm going to be looking again for that target of the 409.50-55 area. And if we can get under that, I would certainly expect to see some more selling come into the markets. So those are kind of the big key areas. There's probably little scalps you can do in between, but those are going to be the big key areas that we're really going to need to see to really start to see our next trend day in either direction, whether it's breaking that 410 or 409.55 or breaking up over these levels. But there still could be some plays that were presented to us, like I was saying earlier, as far as breaking over, retesting, and then coming back. Or if we come up to the trend line here and then we start to fizzle back down. You could get a short back down to these lows and then just try to see if it actually starts to take it out. So I'll be watching certainly kind of this zone right here and this zone up here for there, so you guys can see kind of what I am looking at for the bigger picture. If we want to break this into three, we could probably come down a little bit, and this would bring us to that 55 area down here. Yeah. So we'll have to see if they can. These are the major areas, in my opinion. Everything else, is kind of just still in the range that we've been trading. But like I said, we do have a channel here that's been putting in, and we've gone over how the structure has shifted, and now we're in this downtrend channel. So we could just go turn, back down, or like I said, we can break over and then try to make a push back up in this area, and then roll over and come back down. But it'll be interesting. Hourly closed above the POC here, so that is at least a little bit encouraging for the bulls. It's same on the 5-day and hourly, and 15-minute is just below, but that's fine. That can change. Certainly 4-hour still above. So, I'd be watching to see if we break this 411 as well, as far as the bear case is concerned. Breaking into that 411 could, it's only $1 lower, but probably would lead us back down to retest that 410 area again. Not too crazy of a call, but that's something I'll be looking out for. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to go over for you. I hope everybody, again, is having a great, relaxing weekend with family and friends, recharging from the markets, going over some trades, some setups, some plans that you have for the week. I always talk about this. You make your money when the market is actually closed. That's when you formulate your trigger levels, your game plans. If the stock does this, I'm going to do that. If the stock does that, I'm going to do this. And having everything mapped out on the main stocks that you like to trade, whether that's futures or Apple or Tesla or SPY or QQQ. And then it's not a matter of running around and trying to figure it out in the moment. You already have preset game plans that you're able to wait for the trades to come to you and react to them accordingly. So hopefully you guys get a chance to set up correctly for the week. All right. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and take care. We'll see you on Monday.